Have you ever felt invisible in a place where you belong? Like no one sees the real you, even when you're standing right there. It's a strange feeling, isn't it? Before we dive into today's story, let me ask you something. Where are you watching this from? Are you curled up on your couch in Texas, or maybe sitting in a cafe somewhere in London? Drop your location in the comments below. It helps us connect with our global family. And hey, if you're enjoying what you see so far, don't forget to hit that like button. It means more than you know. This story is for you. You deserve every word of it. Now, imagine being someone who owns an entire business empire, but still feels disconnected from the people working for them. What happens when they step out of their corner office and into the shoes of those who keep their world running? Let's dive to see. It was just another Friday evening at Silver Screen Cinemas, the chain owned by Wyatt Harper, a man whose name carried weight in the entertainment industry. But tonight, Wyatt wasn't walking through the polished glass doors of his corporate headquarters. Instead, he stood in line at one of his busiest theaters, wearing a plain hoodie and jeans. He needed, to understand what life was really like for the employees who worked under his brand. His heart raced as he approached the concession stand, clutching a crumpled $10 bill in his hand. The smell of buttered popcorn filled the air, mingling with faint whispers of excitement from moviegoers around him. Behind the counter stood two young women, Quinn, a petite girl with curly hair tied back in a messy bun, and Riley, her taller co-worker with freckles scattered across her cheeks. They moved quickly, scooping popcorn and handing out sodas while exchanging playful banter. Wyatt smiled to himself. These were the faces of his company, the ones customers saw first, but how much did he truly know about them? As Wyatt reached the front of the line, he ordered a large popcorn and leaned casually against the counter. That's when he heard it, a conversation between Quinn and Riley that stopped him cold. "You think anyone even notices?" Quinn asked quietly, glancing over her shoulder to make sure no managers were nearby. Her voice trembled slightly, betraying the frustration she tried to hide. "I mean, we work our tails off here, and what do we get? Barely enough to cover rent." Riley sighed, shaking her head as she wiped down the counter. "Don't I know it? I've been picking up extra shifts just to afford my mom's medication. And then there's all this talk about bonuses for top performers." Top performers? We're lucky if we can take a bathroom break without getting yelled at. Wyatt's stomach churned. Was this really how his employees felt? He had always prided himself on creating opportunities for hard-working individuals, yet here they were, struggling silently. He wanted to say something, to defend himself, to explain, but instead he stayed rooted to the spot, listening intently. Quinn continued, lowering her voice further. "Sometimes I wonder if anyone upstairs actually cares. Like, does Mr. Harper even know people like us exist? Or is he too busy counting his money?" The words hit Wyatt like a punch to the gut. He thought back to the countless board meetings where executives rattled off numbers and profits, never once mentioning the faces behind the scenes. Had he become exactly what Quinn feared, a distant figurehead oblivious to the struggles of those beneath him? Before he could process any more, Riley spoke again, her tone shifting from bitterness to determination. "You know what, though? I'm not giving up. If anything, this job has taught me how strong I am. Yeah, it's tough, but I'll find a way to make things work. For Mom, for me, for everyone depending on me." Wyatt blinked, struck by the resilience in her voice. She wasn't asking for pity, she was fighting for survival. And somehow, that made everything worse. He paid for his popcorn with trembling hands and stepped away from the counter, his mind racing. How many others felt this way? How many stories like Quinn's and Riley's went unheard? He wandered aimlessly through the crowded lobby, his thoughts swirling like storm clouds. Then almost instinctively, he found himself drawn to the theater entrance. Maybe watching a movie would help clear his head. As he slipped into a seat near the back, the lights dimmed and the screen flickered to life. But instead of focusing on the film, Wyatt replayed the conversation in his mind, each word echoing louder than before. By the time the credits rolled, Wyatt knew what he had to do. He couldn't fix everything overnight, but he could start somewhere. The next morning, he called an emergency meeting with his executive team. When they gathered in the sleek conference room, Wyatt didn't mince words. "I need transparency," he said firmly, pacing the length of the table. "Not just spreadsheets and reports, but real stories. Who are the people keeping our theaters running? What challenges are they facing? Because yesterday, I learned something that shook me to my core." One of his vice presidents raised an eyebrow. What kind of challenge are we talking about, sir? Wyatt hesitated, choosing his words carefully. Financial strain, burnout, feeling unseen and undervalued. Things we should have addressed years ago. The room fell silent. Some looked skeptical, others uncomfortable. But Wyatt pressed on, outlining a plan to implement better wages, flexible scheduling, and regular check-ins with staff members. It wouldn't be easy, and it certainly wouldn't happen overnight, but it was a start. Meanwhile, back at the theater, Quinn and Riley remained unaware of the ripple effect their quiet conversation had caused. On Monday morning, they arrived for their shift to find a memo posted on the break room wall. At first glance, it seemed ordinary, a list of policy updates, but as they read further, their eyes widened in disbelief. "Wait, is this for real?" Riley whispered, pointing to the section about increased hourly pay. "And look, they're introducing health benefits for part-time workers." Quinn's hands flew to her mouth. "Oh my gosh, do you think someone finally listened?" Neither of them noticed Wyatt standing in the doorway, watching their reactions with a mixture of relief and pride. For the first time in years, he felt connected, not just to his company, but to the people who gave it meaning. Over the following weeks, Wyatt made it a point to visit different locations, speaking directly with employees and learning their stories. Each interaction deepened his resolve to create a workplace where everyone felt valued. Slowly but surely, change began to take root. But perhaps the most profound moment came months later, during a surprise visit to the same theater where it all began. Wyatt walked up to the concession stand, now manned by Quinn and Riley, both wearing confident smiles. "Hey, remember me?" he asked, grinning. "I bought popcorn here once." Quinn tilted her head, studying him for a moment before recognition dawned. "Oh, yeah, I remember. You seemed different somehow." Wyatt chuckled softly. "Different is good. Different means growth. By the way, thank you for everything you said that night. You changed my perspective." Tears welled up in Quinn's eyes as she realized who she was talking to. "Mr. Harper, I didn't mean to sound ungrateful. I just—" "No," he interrupted gently. "You meant every word. And because of that, we're building something better together." As they shook hands, Wyatt felt a warmth spread through his chest. This journey wasn't about redemption or validation. It was about connection, about seeing and being seen. So, dear viewer, let me leave you with this. True leadership isn't about titles or power. It's about listening, learning, and lifting others up. Wherever you are, whoever you are, your voice matters. So speak up, reach out, and trust that change begins with courage. And hey, while you're reflecting on that, don't forget to drop a comment telling me where you're tuning in from. Your voice matters to us too. Until next time, stay inspired.